Hello everyone, this is SCSurvival and Hunting. Today we're going to be doing another cybersecurity video. This is going to be our second video in this series. If you have not already, please go and watch our first video on the overview of our playlist, basically, of this whole series on cybersecurity. So today in this video we're going to be looking at which operating system to use. Now, the whole reason behind cybersecurity is to protect yourself against different threats. And there are really three main threats to protect yourself from in today's day and age. You have the physical threat, the threat from the web, and the threat from, well, simply just other humans. And so when we look at all these three different threats, we really have to think about how our information is protected, both on our computer, both how we, talk to our friends, different things like that. So for this video, we're really going to be focusing on the web aspect of getting attacked, and that is really why the operating system is so important, because if you do not have a good, strong operating system, then you can be potentially hacked, if you want to use the term there. You can be infiltrated, you can have your information stolen, you can have your identity stolen, all from simply having a bad operating system that will not protect you from any threat. So that is why we're going to be looking at which operating system to use. Now, an operating system has to provide good transparency. An operating system has to provide good transparency. If it does not provide transparency, you don't know what exactly is going on in the back of the computer. You don't know if there's any secret backdoors that the computer may have, anything like that. So always when you're looking at cybersecurity and you're focusing on the operating system, you have to make sure it provides transparency. You also want to make sure that the operating system has bugs that are found out quickly due to the large community of developers and enthusiasts. The problem with most operating systems, and all operating systems really, but the Linux and Ubuntu and variations of both of those, is that those operating systems do not have a large community of developers. While there might be a large community of enthusiasts, there is not a big group out there that is really trying to develop and take the operating system to the next level. You also have to have a high level of versatility versus closed source. Now you might say, what exactly is closed source? Well, closed source is just an operating system that does not allow you as the user or as the developer, unless you simply developed it or if you're working on it, to really view what's going on in the back door. So with this operating system, this is Linux right here. This is Linux Mint 18. At the time of this video, this is the newest and most up-to-date version of Linux Mint 18. And so Linux Mint 18 is an open source system. You can go into the terminal up right here, and you can be able to see what is going on inside the computer when you're updating, when you're installing a program, taking a program off of your computer, really just whenever you're doing anything. The problem with other operating systems like Windows and OS X, which is the operating system which runs all of the Apple products, is that they are both closed source, and so as long as you have an operating system that is open source, you have a much higher level of versatility than closed source. Another way to look at open source versus closed source is, let's say you have an iPhone, and let's say you have the newest iPhone out there. Well, if you want to change anything on that phone, aside from the factory settings that it comes with, you really can't change anything on it, which is really a bummer, because especially with iOS 10 that came out, maybe you all do not like the new emojis or any other aspect of iOS 10. Well, sucks for you. You can't change it. Now, on the other hand, if you're running something like an Android phone, like a Galaxy S7 or a Note 7, any type of Android phone, you can change the operating system on that phone, or you can even change the features inside the phone just because those operating systems are open source. Now also, when you're looking at which operating system to use, you have to find one that drives innovation. The one thing that I have really liked about Linux over the past, I would say about 2 or 3 years that I've really been looking into Linux and using it, is the fact that Linux Mint especially drives innovation. Now, compared to other operating system manufacturers, other companies that are coming out with these operating systems like Windows, which is Microsoft, and other companies like that, and then OS X and Apple, the problem with those is that while they are coming up with new software, it's not on the cutting edge of today's technology, whereas Linux Mint is, and normally every, I think, 3 or 4 months, normally they will have a newer version of Linux that comes out, if not a major update inside the shell that it is already running in. So when you're looking at the different operating systems, you have to make sure you find which one fits your needs the most. And since we're focusing on cybersecurity, we have to find one that best protects us from, for an invasion of, somebody else, a hacker, somebody trying to take your information. So when we're looking at the operating system that we need to choose, the best operating system to pick is going to be an open source. Now, if you don't like open source, that's fine. You might not agree with everything I say on here, but for the sake of cybersecurity and the sake of protection in general, the best type of operating system to use is an open source operating system. And so that is what I'm showing you today with Linux Mint. Now, you can also use Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, Red Hat, whatever other type of open source software you want to use, just as long as it is open source so that you can see what's going on in the back door, make sure there are no bugs planted in or nobody else is leaking your information while you don't know it. So I think that basically sums up kind of which operating systems to use. You always just want to find one that's open source. You want to find one that provides transparency, that has a high level of versatility, and that drives innovation. As long as you find an operating system that pretty much fits those credentials, as long as it's open source and it works for you, you're going to do just fine in the realms of cybersecurity. So if you guys have any more questions on which operating system to use, drop that down below in the comments section. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to tune into our next video, as we're going to be going deeper into cybersecurity and what that aspect of cybersecurity means in the real world, how to implement it, and some different things that you can do to better secure yourself and your information. Again, thank you all for checking out this video. This has been SCSurvival and Hunting with another cybersecurity production. Thank you.